So I do have something to say to you guys. I have some good news and I have some bad news. The good news is that PlayStation is going to release some earbuds. These things look fire. Now they do work with PC. Apparently they're going to work with PlayStation. I am going to grab these depending on the price tag. I'll be honest with you. If they try to charge you AirPod prices and like AirPod Pro prices, they can stay right inside the store where they belong. Also, they have and it will work for phones and tablets and anything that has Bluetooth. So that is pretty cool. Hopefully there's a PlayStation app that supports settings like noise cancellation, if it even has those features. Now, with that being said, the main event today is that they decided to make a PlayStation handheld. Now, some people are like, oh, that's amazing. I can't wait for it. Well, let me temper your expectations real fast. Apparently, this system requires you to own a PS5. So I'm going to play this showcase for you guys so you can see it and decide for yourself.
Thank you for joining us today. Before we get into our final game, I have a few announcements to share. At PlayStation, innovation is our passion.
It's not.
And that applies to not just what games you play, but how you play them. Later this year, we will launch a dedicated device that enables you to stream any game from your PS5 console using remote play over Wi-Fi.
Now, a PlayStation console that will allow you to stream from your PS5 using remote play or Wi-Fi. So basically what that means, in case you guys that aren't understanding, you cannot download games onto this thing that they have on the screen right now. Now, yes, you may think, wait a minute, that's a pretty stupid invention. That's the first thing that I thought too. And I said, wait a minute, maybe they don't have the proper patents to make an actual handheld system. Then I said, wait a minute, why not make a handheld system that allows you to use the PlayStation Network to download games at a lower capacity, similar to the Steam Deck? No? Okay, they decided not to do that. Well, maybe you can save games to the hard drive that's built into this PlayStation tablet thingy, right? Well, so far we don't have any information about that, but there is a disclaimer that will pop up and let you know in a moment. Matter of fact, let me play it so you can see it.
Internally known as Project Q, it has an 8-inch HD screen and all of the buttons and features of the DualSense wireless controller.
Now, it says right here, games must be installed on PS5, console, and exclusive VR games. So this system cannot download games onto it. For reference reasons, I'm going to stop this video and grab something to show you how incredibly stupid of a decision it is that they're making. This is going to be probably a bigger flop than the PS Vita. Alright guys, so for reference reasons, I know some people probably never heard of a Steam Deck, but I'm a primary PC gamer. So I use my controllers. I have a PS4 controller. I have a PS5 controller. I have Xbox Series X, S controllers. I have all that stuff, right? Multiple controllers. So this right here is a Steam Deck. If you've never seen it before, this is Valve's Steam Deck. This thing right here can download games directly to the system. I have a 512 gig memory card inside of it. I'm going to upgrade it later on, but for right now, it's fine the way that it is. I have full games. It'll let you know what's compatible. I'm good to go, right? Now, what's attached to this, believe it or not, is a PS5 controller because it's Bluetooth. So you can use PS5 controllers, you can use Nintendo Switch controllers, different kinds. There's many controllers you could use because this is technically a PC in my hand. For whatever reason, PlayStation saw the success of the Nintendo Switch. They saw the success. Like imagine, the Nintendo Switch is basically this is my Pixel phone. It's worse than a Pixel, if we're being honest here. One moment. Excuse me. So graphically, I've seen better games on the Android market and the iOS market than on the Nintendo Switch itself. But you see the success of it. It means that people want systems that are accessible to others. People want games that require a split screen when you can sit on the couch if you have multiple children or friends over. That era is not over. It's over because the industry ruined it. It's not that people didn't want that. So if the Nintendo Switch survived, was like the third most selling console, whatever you want to call it, and they had no Call of Duty games, they had no God of Wars, they had no Halos, they had none of the titles that you're used to seeing, except for Mario Bros, a Zelda here and there, how does the system sell so well? It's because it's portable. One of the reasons I had a Nintendo Switch up until probably the last month or two was because there were no other portable systems that was accessible like the Nintendo Switch. Graphics is secondary to me. As long as I could play the games on the go, and I play a lot of indie games anyway, I was perfectly fine. So once I got the Steam Deck, I completely abandoned Nintendo Switch, sold it, got rid of it, done. Never buy it. Well, I'll buy another one eventually, a light, just to finish some games I don't want to buy over on PC. But that's it. No rush. When I see something like this, the first thing that popped to my head was, it'd be amazing if I could just download games directly from the PlayStation Store to the system and just play them. Seems like the most obvious thing that you would do, right? Well, according to PlayStation, no, they don't want to do things that make them money. They want to do things that's going to cost them money. Now, again, I don't know how expensive this is going to be, but I would assume that it... Now, everything in my soul tells me that it's going to be like a $300, $499, $349, $399 system, right? In the same ballpark as the Nintendo Switch and the Steam Deck, like in middle ground. It should only cost $199 if you're being honest here, because you can't actually store the games on the system so far. Remember, we don't have much information about this. But if you can store the game, what makes me think that it can't is because they would have led with that in the first place. Who in their right mind wants to buy a system just to leave their PS5 on at home, connect to Wi-Fi, which I doubt this system is going to have its own internet connection. Remember, Vita tried to do that nonsense, that subscription thing, I think, before, and it didn't work out very well. I think they did some deal with AT&T or something stupid, but it didn't work out well for them. And after seeing what made the PlayStation Portable so amazing, the original, why are you doing everything in your power to make worse and worse products? Nobody wants this. Now, when I first initially saw it, I'm like, is this just a tablet with a controller hooked up to it? And I'm guessing that it's all in one. The screen comes with it, everything. Cool. That's fine and dandy. Are the controllers removable? Maybe not. Okay, that's not a big deal. It still has the signature PlayStation look. I'm not mad at that at all. Why can't you play games separately on this device though? See, the thing is, if it ends up costing as much as a Steam Deck or a Nintendo Switch, you've already automatically lost all value whatsoever, because it has to have a PS5 with it. So if I was to one day go to a pawn shop, which this will be in a pawn shop one day, trust me, nobody's going to buy this and keep it, and I purchase it to review it, oh, I can't play games on it because I need a PS5. Do you know how acidine that is? It's almost, and I never understood this. It's like, it took 20 years, and I have to say this. Capcom, EA, none of you guys are very smart. It took y'all 20 years to come out with Resident Evil 2 Remake, knowing good and well this was a huge seller for your franchise. You remade Resident Evil 3, you remade Resident Evil 4, you got Resident Evil Village, you got all these Resident Evil games coming out and stuff that were selling well and doing well, right? It means people receive it and they want that product. Stop focusing your finances on stupid games. Bethesda, like Golem, I think they're the ones that made that trash. Stop wasting your time with Saints Row. Nobody wants to play this trash anymore. You need to make things that are actually good. Stop stealing old IPs and fucking them up. If you're going to remake a game, do it from the ground up so people get the nostalgia that they want. That's how it works. What's so hard to understand about that? It's almost as if the suits and ties that work in the industry have completely removed anyone useful that will say to them, this might be a bad idea. You can't pay me to make this. If I saw this, I would say, why are we doing this? That's the first thing that comes out of my mouth. If someone says, excuse me? You're making a worthless system that's supposed to, in a sense, compete with the Nintendo Switch, the Switch 2 that's eventually going to come out. You have the Steam Deck. You have so many different other systems out there. And the only thing yours can do is mirror the games that's playing on the PS5. Even Xbox Game Pass allows you to stream with Wi-Fi games without downloading a lot of the titles. Like, for instance, I didn't download, what was that game called from BioWare before they ruined that series? Dragon Age. I downloaded Dragon Age Inquisition. No, not Inquisition. Origins. I did Dragon Age 2. That's my favorite one. I know it's not the best one. The first one's the best, but I still like 2 because it's easier to navigate, where I can just pick up and put it down. and everything was streamed. Granted, the graphics weren't the best because it was streamed and there was some input lag here and there when the connection wasn't that great. You're probably going to experience that on the PlayStation also. But the difference was that I could play these games and have a backup save data automatically. So if I go from PC to home or whatever I want to do, I could just pick up where I left off. Hell, even Xbox Game Pass for Xbox One and PC, if you use the same Game Pass application, your save data will transfer from PC to Xbox to the phone. People didn't realize that if you pay that $14.99 a month for all the access to all those games. But this right here doesn't allow it. It effectively cuts the usefulness of this system in half immediately. I could have even seen if they did a system that allowed PS4 games to be played, PS3 games, backwards compatible. You have to go to the store and buy them, but you're allowed to play it. They're not even willing to do that. I forget how anti-consumer Sony is. Most companies are, obviously. They're here to make money, but I don't know who this is for. This is Google Stadia, but worse. Because at least Google Stadia had standalone games that you could use. This is literally telling me that I have to spend $500 on a PlayStation before I can even use this device. So effectively, you're almost buying a PC somewhere if you combine both of these together just to be able to play games. That's wild. That's insane. Now, it does say game must be installed on PS5 console. So does that mean that the game needs to be on in order for it to recognize which PS5 it's hooked up to? Can it read a PlayStation 5 that's turned off and still load up the game with Wi-Fi? Now, if it can do that, that's a different story. But again, it just doesn't make any sense to actually sell someone a product that requires you to basically stream. So if all it's doing is streaming, how powerful is this tablet or whatever the hell it is? It's just a Wi-Fi tablet that allows you to just connect to the PS5. I really hope it's not expensive because I feel like this is just a cash grab. I don't think it's going to work well. Maybe when more information comes out, I can say things differently. But as of right now with this showcase, it's just a fancy looking piece of junk. But let me know what you guys think. Are you going to buy it? Personally, if you don't have Wi-Fi that's powerful enough to handle games when it comes to streaming, this is probably a definite no-no for you. You could actually buy here's the funny part. You could have a PS5, right? Then you could be smarter and buy a Steam Deck separate so you can play Steam games, have full games on your handheld in addition to having a PS5. So you have the best of both worlds because Steam games have Xbox games on it too. So you can have, without buying an Xbox, you'll have access to their games, right? And you'll have access to your PlayStation. That makes more sense than buying this retarded handheld, especially given the fact that PS5 controllers are notorious for breaking within the first year. But you know what? Do what you want. Anyway, like and subscribe like always, guys. And I will see y'all in the next video.